Folks, hello and welcome to Gamers Health. I am your one of your hosts, your bartender in the OSR, Rach Tenkar. With me is none other than my wife, Rachel,
Hello.
and with us, a few houses down, you might hear it in the background. Is
It's a mariachi
Yeah,
band,
it's a Mexican American wedding going on right now, and at one
or
time,
at least the reception.
yeah, wow. And at one point, we had dueling ethnic music. We had like,
Some type of Middle Eastern, you
yeah,
said?
some type of Middle Eastern music dueling with it. So I don't know if it's coming through onto your end or not.
Welcome to New York. Welcome to Queens.
Welcome to Queens, where,
The most diverse square mile we live
oh, yes, indeed. So, if you look at the bottom of the screen,
in. Yay.
we actually have the Gamers Health newsletter is live. So, subscribe to the Gamers Health newsletter at gamershealth.substack.com. It is free. Up right now is my my recipe for an omelet, which is generally just lower in fat than a traditional omelet because it only uses one egg and it uses egg whites, 2 to 3 servings of egg whites. And the reason for that is I gotta watch my cholesterol and uh, really when it comes
And
to
calorie
and
count.
calorie count, and when it comes to eggs, the egg white is, which is not the exciting stuff, is the good stuff. It's the pure protein, but the egg yolk adds the flavor. So you need
Hmm.
one egg. I use 2 to 3 servings of egg whites to balance it out, so to speak. So, and it was weird writing that out, by the way, just because
You
it's
go over something that you do fairly often,
right,
and you reflect on, so what do I do here?
yeah, it's like, how do I? It's a lot of ways. It's like writing an adventure for you to use yourself at your home table or at a convention, compared to writing an adventure that you're going to have published. I'm like, I want to get out there and dance.
I know. It feels like, vacation.
I don't know if it feels like vacation, but it's certain.
Vacation in Mexico.
I've never vacationed in Mexico, so I don't know. Oh, and by the way, we actually the third chair is. We thought we were gonna. We thought we were gonna have our third chair with us this week, and it didn't work out that way.
Yeah, Miss Shannon.
So, but we make do with what we got. I'm telling you this.
Oh, everything went black.
No, I know. I just wanted to check something out
Oh,
and make
I
sure.
was about to say, uh-oh. Oh,
Uh
you're
oh, but
checking
I
on the
get
football game?
no, no, no. I wanted to make sure I got the. I put the links out earlier.
Okay.
And just man, you gotta make sure about some of this stuff sometimes. So, um, it's been an interesting week to say the least. I've been having a saga going on with my one of my prescriptions for the last week and a half,
Yeah, or
at
if
least.
not two.
Yeah, if not two. Because some of my medications are covered under a union plan. Some of them were covered under a city add-on plan, but then that got rolled into my union plan. But when it did, certain medications were no longer covered. But now they're covered under the World Trade Center Health, which is
Thank
awesome.
God for that.
But my main prescription company, OptumRx, I'm going to give them a big FU. And the FU is because I spent the better part of a week being told, "Oh yeah, not a problem. It's yeah, we'll
It's
have this.
coming.
It's
And
coming.
so is Christmas. But
Yeah,
uh,
not a problem.
then
We got
all
we
changed.
got it all. It's all taken care of." And then I get the notification. You got to call. We need your author. We need whatever. And by the way, I got a letter from this prescription company telling me that I had to go to mail order. You must move your Jardians to mail order. It can only be fulfilled at a local pharmacy.
And that was fine.
I was like, fine, okay, not a big deal. I understand it's a maintenance medication. I understand that. And then literally on Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, I call up and I'm like, yeah, I got this email notification that there's a problem. And look, oh no, all right, yeah, everything. I's are dotted, T's are crossed. Oh, we'll get it out to you, and you should get it in 2 to 4 days. I'm like, awesome. And then 2 hours later, there's another fucking email. And I call back, and now I'm annoyed. And this time, I was firm, and I told the woman I was dealing with, and I wasn't upset with her to the very end. Then I got upset with her, but I wasn't upset
But
with
she
her.
decided to take it by the little instructions they offered
Yeah.
to them.
So I was so joyfully told that I'm not going to use the voice. I almost slipped into it. I am a chameleon when it comes to voices, folks. So I was told that oh no, it's not covered, and you'll have to have your doctor prescribe you something different. And I went,
which isn't happening because he's been on this for more than
I've been on it for 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
And I said, listen, I go, this serves for my heart failure and for my diabetes, my type 2 diabetes. So the option of me changing prescriptions is not.
Because some douchebag cost cutting pharmacy said so.
And I said to her,
with no professional.
I go, if it's not covered, why the hell was I told in writing? I said, in writing that I had to transfer this over.
What a bunch of bozos! They should have just stayed out of it and let you find your way to the express script.
It's what happened. Because it's, and I was like, well, listen, it's supposed to be covered by a secondary insurance plan. So if you're not covering the first, this should cover the rest. No.
Yeah, we have a wacky.
Yeah.
Pharmacy benefits, because some of the benefit comes from the union, and I'm still on the city. The city employee insurance. So other medications are covered by that.
All right.
Yeah, so it's an interesting little web.
Yeah, it's interesting little web that we weave.
But we are very lucky in the way that we, in the grand scheme of things, we do have very good coverage.
We do. I mean, I've argued stuff. I was getting frustrated with OptRx, and at the end when I was like, all right, can you transfer my prescription back to my local pharmacy? Which, by the way, they never did.
Of course they didn't.
Because I get my local pharmacy transferred over to them, but God bless Big Pharma. But then she goes back to the script of, is there anything else I can help you with?
No, you're useless. Get off my phone.
I was like, if there was anything you could have helped me with, trust me, I would have found a way for you to help me. There's nothing you can help me with. Oh, well, have a very good day. And I was like,
yeah, right.
I just wanted to say, at that point, I wanted to say, go F yourself. Because that's the mental state that I was in. And then I had the mental clarity to go, let me just log let me log into my World Trade Center benefits and see, oh, look, there's a prescription sitting there, and my copay is $0. And I was like, all right, fine. So now I had to call my doctor's office to get a new prescription called in to the new mail order pharmacy that I'm using, which is the same as the old mail order pharmacy.
Right.
But
they've just never dealt with it before.
Well, it's because
they did.
No, they did deal with it before. But I am under a different benefit now because this is the World Trade Center benefit for
new
this.
accounts and all that.
Oh, actually, it's the same login, and all my old information still shows up.
Oh my god!
All my old it's a bizarre. It's a bizarre world. That's what what can I tell you? Mm-hmm. So that's a bit of man. I really want to get out there and drink right now is what I really want to do. Hearing all this music,
cervezas.
Yeah, cervezas, chips, some salsa. By the way, with my my omelet, salsa is a key ingredient, and like I say in the write-up on the newsletter, you have to check two things when you're getting salsa. You got to look to see the sugars, added sugars, because that's wasted calories if there's added sugars, whether you're a type 2 diabetic or type 1 diabetic or not. And you got to look at the sodium. Some of them jack up the sodium because they add flavor. Is a flavor enhancer. So our my preferred, I should say, I don't know, Rach prefers it. My preferred salsa is the Costco's Kirkland salsa. It's got a lot of flavor. I don't have to use hot sauce. I don't have to use little Mrs. Dash in the
It
eggs.
does have a bite.
It has a bite, but it's not
Painful.
not a painful bite.
I'm pretty sensitive to spice
Yes.
or heat. The spice. Like I'll have Indian food. I'll have a lot of different like very spicy, savory foods, but when it comes with a lot of heat to it, a lot of like peppers, I guess that's what it is. I'm a hurting puppy.
Yeah. So, what do we do today? Oh, if you're looking at if you looked at the I don't know the thumbnail. Let's like this one. Yeah, thumbnail.
That thing.
That thumbnail for this video. You see a beautiful outdoor shot, and it's the West Pond at Jamaica Bay Wildlife Refuge. We went for a walk.
This is a federal park here in New York City that does a lot of conservation and rehabilitation of, I guess, wildlife and rehabilitation of the ecology. Like they have this situation there where they were putting like a mesh to be able to support the seagrass, to support some of the animals that make a habitat in there.
Well, that and to prevent erosion.
Yeah.
Because Hurricane Sandy, which we're coming up on the 10th anniversary, I can't believe that. But Hurricane Sandy literally washed away the part of the park that was a walkway that separated the salted bay from the brackish West Pond. And it took them a couple of years to fill that in and to complete it. But as opposed to maybe doing like a stone wall as like a breakwater to prevent that happening again, instead they are going the natural route and building up a natural barrier, which should work and probably should be better for the environment, I would say. But it's a great way to get out there and walk. I mean, we talk about a lot of what getting healthier is getting out and just doing it,
Yeah, being in nature. There's a lot of photography that was going on.
Yes.
We brought his mom there, and she's an artist herself, so she has an eye for like, oh wow, isn't this beautiful? I want a picture of it, and then just such a nice experience because it helps you be mindful of sort of what's around you and what beauty is, what pleases you. So being able to take pictures of that and be able to kind of like reminisce over it or use it to escape or relax.
It's amazing because one of the plants that is very prevalent at the Jamaica Bay Wildlife Refuge, it happens to be poison ivy.
Yeah.
But poison ivy in the fall looks beautiful. The leaves are a bright red.
And it kind of like it goes all around the tree. It starts low.
Well, because it's an ivy.
Yes.
So, but we're looking at it and it's like, oh, wow, those are beautiful leaves. And it's like,
and she pointed it out. And I was like, oh, wow, we have a lot of that around the Poconos. I see it all the time.
Three leaves together indicates poison ivy. And it's like, okay, let's stay a little clear of that. But, we did take a lot of pictures. We were actually, Jamaica Bay Wildlife Refuge is on both sides of Cross Bay Boulevard. So we were on the east side initially. We crossed over. My mother had remembered being there like 10, 11 years ago. And we were all 11 years younger. And that path is not it's a more difficult path to navigate. It's got angles, got hills, got roots, got
especially if somebody has like a mobility.
Yeah. And there's a lot of like areas where you had to like walk on planks.
Yeah.
So hey, if you want to like practice stuff for your D&D character, not a bad area. Give you
Oh
an
yeah,
idea.
because we kept seeing the holes, and I
Yeah,
had to
look.
remember put the stick in to tell how deep.
Yeah, my mother had a walking stick, and it was like she was checking out like with a 10-foot pole. She found a hole, and Rach was finding that fucking hilarious. It was funny. It was cute watching
Yeah.
my mother using her walking stick like a 10-foot pole. Like, what's in
Yeah.
here? So, but that was a good part of the afternoon. And the thing is, when it comes to walking, um, or it comes to any exercise, actually, distraction is helpful. In the case of the Jamaica Bay Wildlife Refuge, your surroundings are your distraction. You're having birds fly overhead, you've got vegetation all around you, you had beautiful skies, perfect temperatures around 70, 71
Mm-hmm.
when we were there. Um, a lot of areas for we only after our spending our time on the other side, then we walked over to the main side where the office is. Uh, I think it's about 3.5, 4 miles around. If you do the loop, I think we did about 3/4 of a mile, and or not actually a little bit less, just over half a mile, and then double back because we'd already been walking on the other side. And it wasn't. If it was just Rach and I think we would have just pushed through and pushed around.
Yeah.
But with my mother's in her upper 70s, and it was like
The path across the street was pretty hard on her
yeah,
because of the
it was on,
irregular layout and ground.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it still
Different
allows
place.
you to enjoy beauty, and it's just like
Juxtaposition.
thank you. I'm not having one of those senior moment days. It's a juxtaposition when you're looking over this pond, and if you look at the uh, thumbnail we had up here, that's the Manhattan skyline in the background. So you're looking at this beautiful pond. It's got
Realizing
wildlife in
where
it,
you are.
and beyond that pond, there's more vegetation, and then beyond that, in the distance, is New York City, and that is just very striking. Again, I'm sorry, I'm a New Yorker, so it's New York City. For us, you
Mm-hmm.
would be Manhattan. Okay, because when you live in the city actually is Manhattan.
Yeah.
The rest of us is not the city. So, but that was a good way to get in for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my Apple Watch counted my walking for the most part, and it didn't count. Rachel's watch did not count hers.
I think my heart rate wasn't high enough.
Oh, we weren't walking that fast because we weren't walk. We were walking normally when we walk the dog. We're walking a 26-minute mile, which is still a leisurely path.
Yeah.
With us on this
And
walk.
my heartbeat's usually like in the 90s.
Yeah,
but mine today was like low 80s.
Yeah, I think that our walk today was yeah. I mean, I was hitting upper 90s, but
We were like 75
yeah,
minutes for
yeah.
the mile.
So yeah, well, no, for the mile we were like 54 minutes for the mile.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, but it was almost like half the rate we normally go at.
Yeah.
So, that's why I was like, wait,
But you know what? I burnt calories, so that's fine.
okay, well, yeah, well, I think I have. Oh my God! Look at that! I actually somehow I closed all my rings. I closed all my rings. I closed them all. Somehow my watch likes me today. So when we switched over to our new iPhones, one of the things that Rach didn't have an issue with her switch was her watch switched understood the switch perfectly and
and it offered, hey, we need to sync with the new phone.
Yeah, mine. I had to go through hoops.
Yeah.
And find so that I lost my streak of my movement numbers being hit. Going back to that streak was going back to the day after I had my fifth stent put in, or back in the springtime.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a good stretch going. So
good.
But now that we have the the newsletter up, we're going to be looking for feedback and comments from the readers and from the viewers of this channel, because we want to cover things that will be important to you. Now, something that I've noticed, and I guess the channel has gotten, or at least this part of the channel has gotten noticed, is that with my one email account, I've been getting a lot of uh, media emails asking me if I want to interview people about health, about
there was one about yoga and Alzheimer's.
Yoga and Alzheimer's. There was one
great
about artificial intelligence medical care and how that's going to change things. There was another. There's a lot of mental health and physical stuff that's coming up, and I can only imagine that we're getting flagged for this, for books and stuff, because of this channel. Now, I don't think that we're certainly going to be checking into getting some of, following up on some of these leads, but what we'd like to know is, like with the newsletter, we could obviously write a review on the newsletter. I don't know if maybe we could do a capsule review on one of our live streams if we do that.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you want us to cover? I think today I put up my my recipe, my omelet recipe. We have other recipes and stuff that I have to actually think when I write it out, because these are things I do by rote when I'm doing them.
Mm-hmm.
Rach can go over her exercises, mindful meditation,
mm-hmm.
Yoga. So this is all stuff that we want to integrate into the newsletter, but we're going to need your input to see where that goes. Are we open to having people submit to newsletter articles? Of course. I mean, that's what this is about. It's about community. It's about our viewers, about our listeners.
Us sharing together,
right?
Not just us sharing at you.
So it's a give and take, and it's a push pull, and sometimes it's going to be smooth, and sometimes it won't be. But that's just the nature of the beast. Oh my God, they're really. I can't believe I can't believe it's not butter. I want to check something out on our channel here. 1 second. Oh my God, this sounds like it's from a movie. Oh my God, it really does sound like
it's like you're eating in the Mexican restaurant.
No. This one sounds like it would have come from like a Western. Yeah, this sounds like
maybe.
This sounds like a Western. Folks, I'm sorry. If we are distracted by our musical accompaniment, it's nothing personal. Okay? It's just what's going on in the background. And that's an example, really, of making do with what you have, right? Somebody's having their wedding reception in the backyard in a middle-class neighborhood in Queens. These backyards are not big.
No.
Okay, I mean, I've been to wedding receptions on private property where you can put out like proper tents and covering all that stuff.
They have a tent.
They have a tent that covers up probably every
for the band.
Yeah, and it probably covers up almost all the space in the yard.
Yeah.
So, but they're having a good time, right? And obviously, you're saving money doing this. We're right now, and that's something else when we do the newsletter. We're going to want to be able to point out things for you. Like if we're pointing out snacks or other stuff that are going to be keto compliant or low carb, we're also going to tell you what's your cheaper option, where to go to get this for less price. Because Amazon might be
like dupes and that.
Yeah, because Amazon might be a great place for finding everything in one place. But Amazon is not as inexpensive as it used to be years ago for a lot of the stuff.
Right. So it might be Costco or something.
Big Lots.
We have found stuff up there.
So we're going to try probably on our next Big Lots trip. Next time we go to Poconos in a week or two, we'll take some shots of the products on the shelves at Big Lots, so you can see what's available, what the prices are, because. For us,
Yeah, we could either do like a shop with me video and
Oh
put it
yeah.
inside
Oh my God.
shop with me, at Big Lots for um, safer options, and then
Yeah.
either post it in the newsletter.
You can post it directly to the newsletter. You can do
Okay,
videos directly in
yeah,
the
that's
newsletter.
great.
So that certainly is an option. So I think our last episode we were up in the Poconos.
Yeah, we're actually.
Yeah.
Mhm.
See, we're back to our normal setting.
Yeah,
So now,
our natural habitat.
so now, um, truth in advertising. Last week when Rach and I were up in the Poconos, um, our eating habits were probably on the side of eat more. Uh, I'm not. I'm not saying that I was necessarily blowing my carb budget. I wasn't, but I was certainly eating more food,
Yeah.
more snacks
Hmm.
than I would in a normal.
Definitely more breakfast.
Yes. Well, but it's now up in the Poconos, the place that we get our breakfast usually. I get the Belt Buster omelet, and the Belt Buster omelet. I give Rachel the mushrooms. I tell them to hold the potatoes. Those are two things in it I don't eat. But it has three types of meat:
I don't eat potatoes. So.
sausage, bacon, and ham. It has peppers and onions, and I think three types of cheeses. But it's very carb compliant. I got to say that.
If you
So
order it without the potato.
without the
Yeah.
potatoes, so but
Because
you
I don't
have
think those onions are going to kill you.
no. And listen, my omelet, I put onions in, but
Hmm.
depending on how you get your sausage and peppers, and I didn't cover this in the newsletter, but some places you get sausage and pepper, peppers and onions. Your peppers and onions are in one bag, and most of the time when they come in one bag, about half of it is onions, because onions are the
Because
cheap,
peppers are more expensive.
more expensive.
Mhm.
So if possible, it is not possible because you can get the peppers and onions at like Dollar Tree for $1.25, and that's a bargain. But if you go to your local supermarket, you're going to probably get your pepper strips in one bag and your diced onions in another. And my measurements are generally what would be like a large pinch of onions because they're diced, and I throw them into the pan, and then it's a small handful of peppers. Now, I'll throw mushrooms in for H when if we have them in the house, which I did today.
Yeah, it was nice.
But with mushrooms, you got to get the mushrooms started first because the mushrooms take
To get the water.
You got to get the water out. You got to cook them down a little bit. And generally speaking, I'm not covering the pan up because I'm not going to cover the pan up with the omelet. So you want the mushrooms to go down first. But it's all this stuff is experimenting, right? All this stuff is finding out what works for you and finding healthy alternatives. I mean, if you like, I don't know, chicken nuggets, there's no reason why you can't make unbreaded chicken nuggets. Put them in an air fryer and put like a little like
Just
buffalo
put
sauce.
some spice on it.
But yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do to make food tasty. It's the reason why, like I said before, I know there's going to be the question like with your omelet. Well, if you're using 2 to 3 egg whites, why don't you just make it an egg white omelet? Because egg whites don't have the flavor of an egg yolk. But one yolk can cover a whole omelet. I just use one whole large egg, and I use 2 to 3 servings of egg whites. Yes, you can use. Oh God, what's one that we have right now? The
Egg beaters.
Egg beaters, and egg beaters look like egg yolk or scrambled eggs. How do they pull it off? Natural coloring and xanthan gum. Xanthan gum to make the egg
A thickener.
a thickener
Mm-hmm.
to make it thicker, like if you had the yolk in there. So, but otherwise, that's just there to deceive the mind. It doesn't change the flavor. So I my whole thing is make foods that do less harm, so I'd rather take the extra fat and a little bit of cholesterol from one whole egg over a 3 egg omelet,
Yeah.
and over an egg white omelet.
Yeah, and like when we're in the Poconos, we don't have that
No.
ability to like change it out. When I was on Weight Watchers, I used to go in there and be like, "Oh, it's today with turkey sausage and oh, can I have like egg beaters or egg white omelet?" And they're like, "You don't really do that."
They're
kind of like, "Why?"
Yeah. Why would you want to do that? It's like, come on, don't you want the pancakes? Come on, you want a stack of pancakes, right? So
a short stack, it'll be nice.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the big one.
Maybe I'll make pancakes tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
But we have our low carb pancakes.
Those are awesome.
If you're somebody that is hooked on regular pancakes and you have them constantly, will you know the difference? Probably. Are they close enough? I would say so. Pam's pancakes are damn well close enough. They are spot on as an imposter. They work well. Oh my God, this party's never going to end. See, Rachel, I'm a white guy. I can't move to music. All right, white guys move to music like this because everything is headbanging music. That's really what it comes down to. So now, Rach, did you No, you didn't do any TRX today, right?
Not today, no.
Now, have you added new exercises into your repertoire?
Yes. The burpees.
And I think of burpees. I've got the burpees.
Not those.
All right.
Gently burpees. And then just continuing with like the ab stuff and just finding different things to do with that. Tomorrow I will I saw a video where they had different exercises for your abs. Like if you're not ready, say, to like put your feet in the cradles of your TRX and come into the plank, because be able to do that and do those exercises effectively, you have to be able to maintain a 60-second plank. So I'm working my way towards getting there.
Okay.
I'm consistently doing 30-second planks. I do 30 seconds on the floor, and then I'll do 30 seconds on the ball, like the big ball I have, so that this way the sides of the abdominals can keep the stability also.
I was about to say, you're
parts.
using the ball because the ball has motion to it, so the ball is going to
right. So you have to work to maintain the stability.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So doing that. What else? Just like continuing to like do like more tree pose, because I've always had trouble maintaining the balance to do the tree pose.
Okay.
And so I'm working on extending my time being able to be one-footed on the floor.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I could not probably do the 1 foot chip. I don't think that my ankles are strong enough to.
Because what we noticed on Wednesday when I went into the tree pose, so much of my weight, like on my floating leg, was going into my leg. So I need to work on developing the abs to be able to maintain that leg as a real floaty leg, not. It's like, okay, we're just diverting the energy or the weight of my body into my ankle, or wherever I'm putting my foot. Obviously, we're not putting the foot anywhere around the knee because you don't want to, blow it out.
Oh, what's the fun without blowing out?
Yeah.
What's the fun without blowing out your knee, man?
I'm doing that.
Nice.
It's something I wonder if anybody out there has any experience with like cold exposure. It's like cold
Oh, you were
exposure
talking about
therapy.
that.
Yeah. And I saw a lady online who said that she was able to reverse her Hashimoto's disease um, by doing this. I don't know how you can reverse Hashimoto's disease, to be honest with you, because it's a progressive disease that basically your immune system attacks your thyroid.
Right.
So there's damage that we're not going to be able to repair, or on mine anyway. But, she was saying that doing cold exposure, meaning basically ice baths or like those very, very cold 10-minute showers.
Or coconut water would be great for you.
And
Sorry.
It's hard to think about because one of the symptoms that you experience
Hypothermia
with Hashimoto's is that you have like very much cold sensitivity. They call it cold intolerance. And like winter is a very uncomfortable time for me because I'm always cold. My body, because of the thyroid, has difficulty I guess regulating heat. So
makes sense.
Yeah, so I feel the cold a lot more than the heat.
Interesting.
And so, I was like, oh, well, does that exposure therapy help you feel less cold? They say that it also like helps the thyroid and like mitochondrial functioning in your cells because it gets the brown adipose, like the brown fatty tissue going. This is, I guess, like your baby fat or like the insulating fat, where like a lot of us, our tissue is, especially if we're overweight, like our fatty tissue is often the white fatty tissue, which doesn't really provide insulation very well.
It's sitting there for energy.
Yeah, it's just kind of waiting there. So that's why they say like, oh, we'll get the brown fatty tissue going so that it can start to burn some of the white, I guess. I don't know.
Interesting.
I just thought it was interesting. I wondered if anybody had experience with
you want to do
like the cold exposure.
You want to do a polar bear dip this year?
I think I'd have a heart attack.
Yeah, I think...
Well, that's one of the caveats to it. I was looking at it, and like one of the caveats to it is that you can't have too many shocks to your system, especially if you have like a sensitive heart. I mean, they gave me a clean bill with my heart up.
Right.
But
probably not.
I don't want to play with nothing, but too deep like that.
Probably nothing that I should be experimenting with.
No.
It's like, hey, ice bath? No.
I'm afraid, and I'm also like, that's excruciating. I'm not, I'm terrified of doing it in the wintertime.
Well, yeah.
So like, the shower is the thing that gets me through the night, because it's, you take the hot shower and then like, you're good
the tension
for the night. Yeah, and then you're cozy.
See. And Rachel and I both run at different temperatures. So for me, I'm often sheetless or blanketless until I get up for that first nighttime or early morning pee. And I learned this as a cop, if you're going to be out on patrol on a foot post, you're better off with
like if you feel the cold more, like,
no,
it's going to make you pee.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, when you're
it's going to make you want to pee, and then you want to pee, and then it's like the cold just makes it worse.
Well, because what happens is once that pee in you is effectively a water bottle. So if you learn how to control it, and the NYPD didn't teach you how to control your bladder, by the way. The NYPD, when you were in the academy, you could only leave the classroom in the academy for one of two reasons:
Mm-hmm.
to go directly to the bathroom or directly to a water fountain.
Oh.
So everybody wanted to get up and stretch during class. You were basically peeing 3, 4, 5 times in an 8-hour day just to get out of your seat. So doesn't train you too well to be on a foot post with no bathrooms for 8.5 hours.
Mm.
Trust me, been there.
I guess that's on the job training.
On the job training. But I did learn in the wintertime, and it's true, especially even when you sleep. If you wake, I find that if I wake up and I go pee, now my body is no longer has that hot water bottle inside me. Now I need a blanket. Now
Mm-hmm.
I need to cover up at night because now I'm feeling it, which is, you know, I guess an interesting way to look at your bladder, but whatever works. What can I say? So what else did we get done this week? Um, no major walks. We had walks up in the Poconos.
Yeah, and the Poconos early in the week.
Don, we won't make you have to go pee. All right, you can
Good to see
you're
you.
you're a grown man. You can take care of that on your own. But by the way, allergy season has come and gone and come back again for me. I was doing pretty
Yeah,
well.
mine are. I was okay for much of the summer, and then Thursday was a really bad allergy day for me.
Yeah, no, it was.
It made me sick to my stomach. So
Yeah, me and my wife went for a nice long drive. The colors are bright here now.
yeah,
They like the Poconos this past week. We came home on Tuesday. Um, was starting to change. Could have been a lot brighter. They weren't, which is a shame. But as I was saying earlier, we were at the Jamaica Bay Wildlife Refuge, and man, poison ivy is beautiful in the fall. It is a bright. If I was a kid, I'd be collecting all these leaves to take home and put on.
remember that you used to put it inside a book and
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. Don's wife had a horrible time with allergies for the past 2 weeks. I was doing
The hay
okay.
fever,
And
ragweed.
yeah, until earlier this week, and now, like right now, just leaning over slightly, I can feel my nose start to drip, and it's just like, oh, god damn son of a bitch. And honestly, I take allergy medications. I take antihistamines
Every night. Yeah.
Yeah,
Me too.
and just take the edge off it. All right, not really helping all that much. The only thing that in my life that ever helped me with my allergies was when I was on chemo and they gave me steroids.
Oh, but you don't want to help that
No,
kind of
no.
help.
But I told my oncologist, I said, hey, at least there's one good side effect. He's like, what's that? I go, I have no allergies for the first time in my adult life. And it was like, well, that's always a good way to look at it. I'm like, yeah. And then the following year, everything was back. I guess being normal has its own advantages, but having allergies is not one of them. But I'm thankful I'm only allergic to, as far as I know, to seasonal allergies. I'm not allergic to shellfish, just hate it. My sister was allergic to strawberries when she was a kid.
Oh,
She outgrew that.
interesting.
Yeah. Well, I guess your body chemistry changed. I think she outgrew it as she hit puberty. And I think the body chemistry changed, and then it wasn't an issue.
Huh.
So.
Is that like nightshade or strawberries nightshades?
I don't know.
Like with the peppers and.
Could be. They could be in some.
She's allergic to that.
Yeah, but she isn't. As an adult, she is not. Don's wife is allergic to fish. Okay.
Oh wow.
Well, I mean, that's when I had to get. When I had my my Hodgkin's, I had to go for scans constantly. The question they always ask you: are you allergic to shellfish? Because it was with contrast or without contrast. With contrast was the radioactive dye, and that was always something that if you had an allergy to shellfish, you could go into shock. And I always just thought, as far as I know, I don't eat the stuff, so I wouldn't really know if I have an
Oh,
allergy.
and you don't want to test it out now. So.
No, but I don't have an allergy to it.
Yeah.
The first they went, all right, well, in for a penny, in for a pound type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
They were ready with the what's the stuff,
EpiPen.
the EpiPen. Yeah, they were ready with the EpiPen. Everything went perfectly normal, and I was like, okay, scratch that possible allergy off the list because that's a scary one.
Yeah.
You know. So I've seen people have allergies to food that they've eaten, and you just watch the body swell. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And it's just sometimes, depending on what the allergy is, doesn't need much of an exposure.
Yeah.
Which is damn scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I was thinking earlier today when we were at Jamaica Bay Wildlife Refuge that when we talked about this, it's coming up on a 10-year anniversary of Hurricane Sandy,
mm-hmm.
and that I mean we're lucky where we live in Queens. The house is on a small hill. I mean, you could get some water in the basement with the front yard turns into a pool and water seeps through the wall, but you're not going to get flooded out. But we saw so many neighborhoods that were flooded out. I still have the pictures on my phone of what I saw in the days when I responded afterwards to Coney Island and the Rockaways. And I can't believe we're coming up on 10 years now. And
yeah.
And it's like, how do you know it's 10 years? I know it's 10 years because 2 of the days that I worked, one was of the day I worked there a couple of days, but one day was our anniversary.
Yeah.
I had to work our anniversary, and it was our first anniversary, and I was detailed. And Thanksgiving Day of that year.
Yes.
But I volunteered for that one. I was like, I'll step up if I can get off
the day after, and then take the weekend to go away.
Yeah, if I can, that was my little getaway. So, but oh yeah, and I had to make that deal with the lieutenant I'd already pissed off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I mean,
what was more important to her?
Yeah.
Let her decide.
Yeah. Oh, I pissed her off because I pointed out to her that she was wrong.
Oh, this was that patrol guide thing, and we don't follow it, but then
no,
we do.
We are kind of, yeah. Sending my detectives or any detectives out to pick up cars on their own time.
Oh.
I was like, no, that doesn't work. No, you got to pay them overtime. She's like, oh, no. I go, no, you got to pay them overtime. You can't send them on their own time to pick stuff up. They get into an accident. I go, what? They're responsible? I go, and then I got the union involved, and then she was not too happy.
I think she always didn't like you.
No, because I called her on her.
You always called her out,
and I was always right.
Right.
So
you weren't gonna make waves.
No,
right.
Right. Don, we are lucky here. We are far above the floodplain, but our old farmhouse in winter, our power go out, and we could go 2 weeks until they restored it.
Oh wow,
that sucks. And that's going to be like
that sounds like some Connecticut stuff.
Yeah, or even Florida. I mean, the worst weather-related stuff that we have had here, I guess the Christmas before Rach and I got married. So that would be 2009 when we
2010.
2010. You're right. We had so much snow they didn't plow our streets for days. Ambulances couldn't get to houses. I had to. I was on vacation. I was smart. I was senior enough that I got that Christmas week off. So I didn't have. But my mother got snowed in at my sister's house because. Remember that?
Oh my God, your poor mom.
She got snowed in for days. She was out there helping my sister with her newborn. And then she just couldn't come home. I think she was out there until like the 27th or the 28th.
Yeah, she was trapped in there.
She was there for almost a week. Because
you sure it wasn't New Year's Eve we went to pick her up?
I think it could have been. All I knew.
It's okay. We're gonna go home and have some drinks and tasty food.
Yeah, all I knew was that by the time I had to return to work,
because I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it I said, thank God we brought the dog that time because I
Yeah.
had to dig out a spot by our tree for the dog to take a pee. And this dog was smart too because when she knew there was one winter night that she knew she was going to have stomach problems, and she didn't wake up Rach, her longtime owner, because Rach just sleeps through anything, and she wakes up me and she's like, I'm like, what is it? And it's like she's like all like energetic, and I'm like, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I went, oh, this dog has to go to the bathroom, and it's not a wee wee pad type of deal. And I had to take her out to the backyard, and she went out in the snow and did her business, and then she came back in like,
thank you, Daddy.
Hey David, you're on a plane over the North Atlantic. But I stopped by because I hate this flight.
Where are you headed?
Yeah, where are you?
North Atlantic. Are you going to Ireland or Iceland or?
Well, it could be good.
Norway,
Finland, Sweden.
Lots of lovely places.
So many places, so little time. And that was, for Rach and I, like we used to fly 3 times a year. I think we're probably going to be down to once or twice a year now.
Yeah,
we'll probably try to get Game Hall back on the.
Yeah, we want to have Game Hall.
Yeah,
on there. That's
that Game Hall didn't work out this year because their local college sports team basically sold out like hotel rooms for Friday and Saturday night in the city of Madison, and I was not willing to get a hotel room that was going to cost $400 a night, and on top of that, have to take like Uber to get to the convention. I was like, yeah, no, ain't happening. Dave is coming back from Spain.
Oh wow!
Very nice.
Beautiful.
My son loves Barcelona.
Yeah.
He was talking about going there, I think, next week for his vacation. I think he punted his vacation. But he works for Delta, so he gets to fly for free. So, whatever. Listen, I like flying because it takes me places. My son Chris likes flying because it's fun. So,
yeah,
he'll do it. He'll be like, oh, I should do a one day.
Flying is the price you pay for getting to some beautiful, amazing place.
It's like he's already been like, I think I may take a single trip.
Like
I may take a day trip out to Germany. I go, what? I go, why would you want to spend so many hours? I was like, well, I'll take a, I don't know, 7-hour flight. But then I get like 8 hours in like Munich, and then I get a flight back that night. I went, you're insane. I hate flying. I don't hate flying. I don't enjoy flying that much that I want to do all that stuff. Was in Barcelona. I have lots of family there.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, Chris and his fiance love Barcelona. He wants to take our niece there. By the way, Rach, you heard that apparently, you did hear. Apparently, Chris went.
I heard he was colluding with Shannon to get her out of school.
Yeah, it's like, to be educational to take her to Barcelona.
It's just as good as school, Natalie.
And I tell you, it tells you a lot about this 11-year-old, soon to be 12-year-old.
And the magical powers that she has for persuasion.
Say, come on. It's like, the other week he was telling me, no, Shannon can travel with us, but only when she's off. And now he was going, oh no, she can come any day she wants. Not the way it works in the real world. But we were hoping to have Shannon on because Shannon is she started in a new school, and it's a whole change of friends and your socialization.
Yeah.
And she went from public school to a private school.
Yeah.
So that's a whole huge monkey wrench. So it would have been a lot of fun having her too.
Yeah, it's a whole new set of kids.
Yeah.
Kids that she doesn't have any history with.
Now, when I went from elementary school to junior high school, I literally knew nobody in my class. I made new friends or enemies or whatever. You know how school is.
Mm,
You make a little bit of both, right?
absolutely.
You know, but yeah. Hey, they actually they've quieted the band down.
Yeah, they have. The
Wow.
volume is quite a lot lower. Maybe they're on a break.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe they're on a break and they just have
Yeah, maybe it's
like
got
DJ stuff
yeah.
going.
James Seymour, I don't mind living in flyover country if it keeps most of the coasters away. Keep thinking that Kansas is all flat. Well, I mean, we vacation in the Poconos because family has a place up there, and it is far from flat. But when we go out to Dallas, it amazes me.
How flat.
Oh my god, it is a totally different world. It's like where is the? I mean, even New York City, all right, doesn't have mountains. It certainly has inclines and declines even in Manhattan. But you have to remember, New York City and Long Island,
Long Island is relatively flat.
relatively flat, but you do have your pieces here and there. But these are sandbars. Okay, so they weren't. These are sandbars that were pretty much built up or formed after the last ice age. So that's why in like New York City, it's actually got a lot of bedrock going on. You'll see this if you go to Central Park, but like Long Island, and that includes Queens and Brooklyn, when they do construction sites for an area that hasn't really been dug out, they're digging up big boulders because all this stuff is stuff that got rolled down. They don't in Queens. They build new building. They have to take pylons and pound them into the ground for days until they hit bedrock to give a support for the building.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that problem in other parts of the country, but Long Island again is a sandbar, and that's why. Uh, James, this year we do have an overabundance of allergens. Yes.
Yeah, it feels like it gets worse every year to some degree.
Yeah, and I don't always know why.
Yeah.
It can't be global warming or climate change.
It's not allowed.
Can't be. Central Park is what, about 800 acres? That's a tad over a square mile.
A little more.
It's got to be more than that.
More, because like 20 blocks is a mile.
Yeah, actually, hold on a second. I'm actually going to look it up.
So it starts at 59.
Central, and it ends at 125th.
Yeah. Does it?
Yeah.
No.
110th, sorry.
Yeah, 110th.
And it was one of those major. Oh, actually, it's pretty close. Its actual size is 1.317 squared miles. So it is obviously longer than it is wide.
Yes.
So it is 2.5 miles long and a half mile wide. Okay. And it is 843 acres. Wow, that's closer than I actually thought. There you go. All right. So you were pretty close. You were pretty much spot on. Central Park, if I lived in Manhattan, I'm probably sure I'd be there constantly. We are lucky. We have a backyard. And we've got our bits of nature out there. We're able to plant in the summertime.
Yeah.
We have our front yard, which looks beautiful every spring. We get compliments on it because all the bulbs and flowers that come up.
Yeah.
So we even have some raspberries.
Yes.
Raspberries coming in our third crop. First crop was pretty decent, and when I say decent, like every day you went out there, you had a handful. Our second crop, which was end of August, was pretty pathetic, but we had a lot of heat.
Yeah, the summer was not such a great growing period this year.
But now we have like a third crop coming. It's going to be small, but we don't really have anything that we can pick in October, so that's kind of exciting. But my nose. Yeah. Oh, Jane's like he grew up on a small Kansas farm, just a little shy of 240 acres.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, you
You
see,
grew up on a quarter, like a third of Central Park.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, the third, but between a third and a fourth.
Mm.
But yeah, but the thing is, for New York City, and again, for New York City, meaning Manhattan, that's a huge piece of land. And
It is.
now there are other sizable parks in Manhattan, Riverside Park, but it's a very narrow strip. It's a long strip. Runs along the Hudson, the
Yeah.
Hudson Yards. Yeah, you have Morningside Park up in Harlem.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, what's the other park up there?
Uh,
Being that both were in my command, I should know.
the one all the way by the river.
No, Riverside, Morningside, and there was another one. Morningside was the southern park. That's the one by Columbia. And there was one that was on the other side of 125th Street that ran behind CCNY.
I don't remember the name of it.
St. Nicholas.
Oh.
St. Nicholas Park. There we go.
Oh yeah, you used to have to cross through that one to go to Columbia.
Depending on, well, Morningside was the park where when I was like, I don't know, 19, there was a gaming convention at Columbia University, and me and my friend had never gone to a gaming convention. So, well, this is exciting. Let's go. And we didn't take trains very often. So me, my friend Andrew, and Lenny I think was 17.
Oh.
He was a small Filipino. Andrew was a tall but ganky white guy, and me. And we are trying. We got off the train on the wrong side of whatever.
No, you took the wrong exit.
Well, we took the wrong train.
Oh.
So we see we find a cop foot post. There were foot posts back then, by the way. And we asked him, what's the best? We were looking to get to Columbia University. And we're at Morningside Park, because I realized this after the fact. And he points. He goes, well, you walk through this, take this path, take those stairs up Morningside Park, because it has these huge stairs.
Yeah.
And then he second, and then he looks at us again. And he goes, actually, you know what? On second thought, walk 3 blocks down to 110th Street, make a right, walk up to, was it Broadway?
Mm-hmm.
And then goes, make another right. And he's like, but the other sounds quicker. He goes, yeah, but I don't need to respond to kids getting robbed. So, so it's like, okay, wise enough, good direction. So we took it, and that's where I got my RuneQuest 2E stuff and Pavis and Big Rubble and box set. Mm-hmm. Everything for like $15. It was great. David Flora, flat, the highest point in Florida south of Gainesville is a trash heap. Well, mm-hmm. I think the highest points in Staten Island are probably landfill. I think I could probably say that for safe.
Oh, wow.
The reason why, like a city like New York City now, you have recycling now. We even have not like mandated. They can't. They're composting dinner scraps. So that includes meat, chicken, pork, pizza, vegetables,
and your papers that are slathered in grease from like the pizza.
So
the box.
So they're going to pick this up once a week. So, and they gave you a garbage can that seals and locks pretty well. But my mother pointed out that once you put the liner bag in it, it doesn't seal. So it's optional, but they don't tell you it's optional. You got to look it up and find out there's an optional thing. But this again is to get less trash for the landfills. We've watched videos to show the reality of most of our plastics going overseas wind up just going to overseas landfills, right? Or getting burned. I mean, we're not really helping the environment unless you're recycling plastic here into a new product. It's not doing much going overseas. Mm-hmm. Metal, sure. Glass, sure. Paper, I guess. You know, but what they don't have to put into a landfill, and I think New York City garbage doesn't stay in New York City anymore. Our landfills were full
Yeah, we
and
had
done.
these barges for a long time.
I've seen our sanitation trucks driving into New Jersey. So
Oh.
I mean, and no, they're not going there to do illegal dumping. All right, right.
Yeah, remember when they had the barges and New York and New Jersey were fighting over like where it should go?
Well, a little bit of history. Before 1898, New York City was not the five boroughs. New York City was Manhattan, I think the Bronx, um, but Queens was a bunch of smaller municipalities, and the city of Brooklyn was one of the largest cities in the country at the time. And at the time, before the merger of the of the city and then their police departments, um, sanitation, believe it or not, was carried out by the local police departments.
That's
City
wild.
NYPD and Brooklyn were in charge. Brooklyn PD were in charge of getting rid of their respective garbage. And what would happen is the NYPD would get a garbage scow or garbage ship, and they would take it over the city line into Brooklyn to dump into the Brooklyn waters of the harbor and or the East River. And Brooklyn would do the same on the New York City side. And since these were both police departments, there was often gunfire going on between ships as they would cross. It
No, you're
was
not.
no, you're not basically. So in an insane part of New York's history, I am a bit of a history buff of the.
That's where all this garbage barge stuff came from.
Well, that's
Because we had it in what, like the 80s or 90s.
it's a similar thing.
Mhm.
It was because back then dumping into the river, raw sewage was going into
Right.
the
This
river.
was the time when even medical waste was going into.
Yeah, yeah. You go
Yeah.
down to the Rockaways in the '90s.
Yeah, I bet.
You'd find medical waste and needles on the beach. It was disgusting. So yeah, no, definitely. As a reminder, folks, we have the link to our uh, Gamers Health newsletter. It's just kicked off, so right now it's just pretty much a single recipe. We have a lot of other things that we plan on doing. Ideas for shopping, for low carb foods, heart healthy foods, where you can go to get foods that are lower in salt, how to find healthier options at cheaper price points than Amazon. So a lot of that stuff is what we're going to be working on over the next couple of months. And the highlight, Rach doesn't know this yet, is I'm going to make Rach write some of the articles.
You'll have to do my editing.
Editing, schmediting. It'll tell you if you're writing something wrong anyway. But no, it's we're gonna looking for advertisers to help sponsor meet costs. Let us know. Thank you, Don. But we will. But we got. I figure we got to get the subscribers up there. But as I was saying earlier, um, this live stream has gotten noticed by people that do public relations because in the last I don't know 3 or 4 weeks or so, instead of just getting hit with a lot of requests to do media interviews with some I don't know video game company I've never heard of or esports company, I am now getting artificial intelligence
in medical care.
And do you want to interview the author, or do you want a press kit, or do you want to get the book? Yoga for Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
A lot of so I'm seeing that we obviously there's no my blog does not show any of that stuff, so it's just live stream. It's the Saturday nights that are getting a little attention. So we want to turn that attention into more viewers, and part of it's going to be getting this newsletter out. because the newsletter should be able to feed back and forth. Which, by the way, I'm realizing since our Friday night gang of goons, the random generated party, I do a channel. Joe Lloyd does a channel. Uh, Matt Jackson does a channel. Rob Conley is talking about starting up a channel on how to design sandboxes. And I'm thinking we should probably, again, put together, what do you call it? A Substack. I couldn't remember the name of it. A Substack newsletter for those channels, just so people can go like once a week and get an update of what everybody has put out, because you should know them all from the live stream anyway. And we're stronger for everybody getting more eyes on. That's the way I always look at it. So, but as I've said in the past, this live stream is something that I felt compelled to do, and I really feel that there is something special about sharing about yourself, about sharing about your ups and your downs. Like, we didn't, somehow we got this track that like both Rach and I put on weight last week. Because we ate like shit. Not like holy shit.
Not total shit. We weren't after donuts and
but we
like sweets and really like Doritos. None of the really bad shit, but we ate a little excessive. Like the things that we would normally eat, we ate more excessively.
Right. Yes. James, I looked up a B-movie actress the other day. She passed away younger than I am with dementia-related issues.
Oh.
There's need to publicize issues as you do. Well, here's the thing too, and I don't know if everybody knows this, but like one of my favorite authors of all time for fantasy writing was Terry Pratchett.
Yeah.
Terry Pratchett. Rach knows Terry from his work with Neil Gaiman on Good Omens.
That's how I got turned down.
I last I checked, and I haven't looked it up in a couple of years, is that he had retired from writing because
he's still living.
Alzheimer's. He might be dead at this point if he is, but he had early onset Alzheimer's. Like it was hitting him in his 50s.
Oh God.
So I mean, now from what I've read, and I'm not a medical professional, I make no claim to be such, that eating a lot of greens, vegetables, salads are ways to keep your brain healthier, or at least put the odds in your favor.
Maybe that's something to do. Maybe like a prevention sort of thing.
No pretzel dogs. Oh God!
No pretzel dogs. Sorry.
I wish we had really, really good Chinese food. There's a really great Chinese restaurant up in Honesdale, PA. China Castle. They're no longer doing dine-in right now, not because of COVID, because of staffing issues. That's another thing, that when we were up in the Poconos, every place was looking to hire people. Every place was short-staffed.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So the question becomes, it's not like, it's like the population hasn't changed up there.
People need to work, or people need to do stuff. And I can't imagine that many
Pratchett
people
passed
up
away?
there are...
Wow. I didn't realize he passed away in 2015. It had been a number of years. I used to buy his books religiously as they came out because they were just that good. And I really enjoyed all of his writing. His writing would make the days when I had to deal with if I was the lodging officer, if we had prisoners that were lodged, and that was your assignment for the day, was the prisoners, and you had to go and check on them every half an hour to make sure that nobody's turning themselves up.
Oh, okay.
I'd have a Terry Pratchett book in my locker waiting to be read for those days, and I would make it. I only could read that book if I had the prisoners, because it made a horrible assignment awesome. Hey, I spent 5 minutes making sure that everybody, they're going to get fed. All right, let me pass out the McDonald's cheeseburgers, sans meat. So they would get...
Oh, no.
So
McDonald's cheese on a bun.
What they would get,
wow,
for dinner was a slice of McDonald's cheese on a hamburger bun, child-sized fries, and a child-sized soda.
And for some of them, that's good.
Yeah,
That's eating good.
so that's what they would get. So that's why, like, if we had prisoners that we had to lodge out of the county, like if we were in the Bronx and they told us we had to take hey, you got to take those, like say the prostitutes. Oh, yeah, there's no lodging of women in the Bronx. You got to take them out to Queens. We would literally stop at a Burger King, and we would get them all like a small cheeseburger meal, because we knew they weren't going to get fed, and we'd actually walk them in with food, which meant that we had a happy desk sergeant where they were arriving at. We had happy prisoners for the rest of the trip because they know they were going to eat, and maybe it cost us back then $10 between three of us that are doing the lodging, and we're all in overtime. So it was well worth it to make everything smooth on all sides. Um, James, I like to practice solo books. Not crazy about his collaboration with Gaiman.
Oh,
See, I really enjoyed Good Omens enough
too.
that I it's one of the probably the only book I've read 3 times, listened to the Audible twice,
Yeah.
and it was a really good Audible version of that one. And obviously, I watched the miniseries on Amazon. I think it was Amazon.
Yeah.
So I thought that they did did it fit exactly into what I remembered? No, but I thought that they did the
They did a
characters.
good job of representing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I thought that like the Sandman first
Yes.
season did a great job.
Yeah.
Now,
I
did
loved
it
it.
did it stick to the books exactly? No, when I started or the comics, I started rereading the graphic novels on my iPad, and it hit the keynotes. It hit enough, but the medium changes, so the manner of telling the story has to change, and I'm fine with that. That being stated, have Rach and I watched the Rings of Power, Lord of the Rings?
Not yet.
Yeah, no, I think that I need a designated day of drinking, and maybe we'll make it into like a drinking game.
Oh, I'll definitely go to sleep then.
Actually, Rachel, I have to. You got. Yeah, Don. I
You'll
love.
drink tea. You'll drink some black tea, right?
Yeah,
Or coffee.
Don. I love Neil Gaiman. His writing is so interesting.
Love
Yes.
it.
Now, one series that we crapped out on in the middle of, and we didn't get back to, was American Gods.
Yeah, that was amazing.
But
Both being when I read it and when I listened to it on Audible.
Yeah, and actually the series looked pretty good, but I think that we were watching that when I was it when you were still working. I might have been retired, but the hours just
Yeah, and we just couldn't make it work.
yeah. So we gotta look that one up
Yeah.
and stream that, because that was actually looking pretty good. One I think it's overlooked by people is a bizarre series, Preacher. Preacher was bizarre. Remember the vampire? And the preacher had the word of. Okay, the preacher was the whole town gets destroyed in like the one episode. Like it's bizarre. It's got weird stuff that you kind of go.
This was many years ago. Then
Yeah, many years ago. Yeah.
Because there was another. What was his name? Reacher.
No,
where the guy was.
Preacher
he
was
just kept showing up in towns and bringing trouble with him.
No, well, that was different.
Reacher.
No, this is the Preacher, and he had the voice of God.
I vaguely remember this now.
Okay. What do you do for exercise, both distance and cardio? This is James. Okay. You want to take this one first, and then I'll do.
So, I do the TRX. It's a suspension trainer that helps for strength training, for functional strength training, and it works with your body weight. So you can al- alter the intensity depending on what it is that you need. Like as you get stronger, you just move your feet in towards the anchor point a little bit more,
You change your
and
angle.
you change your angle so that you're pulling more of you up.
And by the way, this was invented by designed and invented by a military
Yeah,
guy, and Matt Jackson said he used to use that when he was deployed
yeah,
to exercise. He goes, it's a great system, and it's compact. So Rach can take it with us to the
yeah.
Poconos. She took it to North Texas. So
Um, and then we do a lot of walking.
yes,
Um, let's see. I do a lot of yoga, and it depends. Some days are more gentle, like I'll do like cars, which are controlled articulated rotations, which help a lot with your joints.
keep talking.
And then I'll move it into sort of like a little bit more vigorous vinyasa yoga to be able to like get that moving. I just started to learn about the HIIT, the high intensity interval training, um, which are interesting workouts because you're basically making your heart go um, towards its, towards its higher zones, and then giving yourself brief rest, and then doing the same thing again, and you do it in a circuit of maybe 5 different types of movements or workouts. It can be very varied. um
So James, that's a
yeah.
that's a link to the various TRX stuff that's up on Amazon. It's not an affiliate link, but I just wanted to get it up there, so you can look at a few of their options.
Yeah, I can actually
You can you can write an article on
yeah,
that.
I can just put out different stuff that I've been turned on to
Yeah.
in my journey, you know. And then like a lot of some Pilates, you know, to work on core strength. Um what else? Yeah, I think that's it right now.
Yeah. Now with me for a cardio slash stretching, I do a lot of movements with I do a series of twists and what do you call it when you do the left and the right side? There used to be a word
Like
for that.
lateral stretches?
Lateral stretches to try to work my hips and my sides. I do because I have stenosis in my left shoulder. I do a lot of arm exercises, and then once I've got that stuff down, then I go into a bit of a boxing routine. So
Mhm.
I can, I mean, if I do everything in that, and then bring it back and do a cool down, it can be 15 to 20 minutes. Sometimes I'll be looking at my watch and going, oh, I've got 18 minutes in for the day. Time for me to get at least another 12-minute workout in, and that's what I will do.
Yeah.
I also do the Quest 2 VR headset, a lot of racquetball with Zach Glazer, which is also good for working my shoulder, but also getting my heart rate up.
And he started doing the cars.
Started doing the cards. I have to get back to it with
Mm-hmm.
Rach because all this stuff helps. Like with me, I'm not looking to necessarily build up strength of my arms or getting bulky. I'm not looking to get bulky. I am looking to exercise and stretch muscles that I might be having issues with, and build up some
And helped your joints and
in my
stuff.
joints. So for me, it's a lot about movement.
Yeah.
And
I never said the duration. So like for a HIIT, it can be between 20 to 30 minutes, and then you do your cool down. My TRX tends to, I usually do it like if I'm doing it on my own, I'll do it for like 45 minutes, and then I will do a certain yoga poses that help with the core. I'm kind of fixated right now on the core because so many exercises really depend on core strength. Even when you're doing things like with your biceps or your rows and stuff like that on the TRX, you do have to engage your core. And especially when you're doing the one-handed jobs, like the one-handed exercise where you do like a one-handed row or a one-handed bicep curl. You really need to engage your abs so that this way your body doesn't fall out of alignment and make it more like, I guess, put you at risk of injury or falling.
Right.
So yeah, the TRX is usually if I'm doing it on my own, it'll be 45 minutes to an hour. Yeah, and then like I'll cool down and then do like a meditation. And then the yoga usually that can go anywhere from half hour, 45 minutes. If I'm doing it with my partner, often it's longer. Like it could be an hour, it could be two. Usually two.
2.5. All right, but now, and here's the thing: like Kane says, I don't get as much cardio as I should, but it's unusual that I get less than 10,000 steps a day. That's pretty damn good.
That's awesome.
We try to get in our walks. Now, what's going to happen is as the weather gets cold, we'll still go out for walks, but when the weather gets snow and ice, part of the issue is going to be for us, and we already know this, is that once the ground gets salted for inclement weather, we got to wait for a good rainstorm to wash the salt away before the dog can comfortably be out there.
So in that situation, we should be going to like shopping malls and just walking around all the floors.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah, no, definitely. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Multiple times. You know?
And then getting the dog her exercise, we'll go out to Pet Supplies Plus more often.
Yes.
You know, because she loves going there and get her.
And she loves visiting with people.
Yeah. Because I think for our dog, she likes walks for two very distinct reasons. And she likes her outdoor walks, especially the ones that are in a secluded park or up in the Poconos, because she gets all these different smells and she gets these different sounds. But she likes parks like in Queens, Juniper Valley Park, or Elmhurst Park, a small park by us, or even walking around the neighborhood, because then she gets to meet people. And she loves meeting people. She is a people dog. She's not a dog.
Yeah. I was seeing something that James was saying, like feeling like he doesn't get enough cardio. Now cardio is hard. Like walking is cardio, yes, but then there's like cardio that pushes your heart more,
right?
And like that can be really hard for people, like especially if you don't have that much experience with exercise. You know, like I was kind of sheltered from exercise and stuff because of my eyesight. There was no contact sports. You know, a lot of the gym stuff would be like, you go out and play the left field, sweetheart. You know, I would just sit down, talk to girls, whatever.
You're left out.
Yeah. So, you know, if you don't have that frame of reference for what it's supposed to feel like, you're supposed to be panting and sweating.
Like,
and I'm like, oh my God, I sweated out my shirt. I'm sweating like a man, you know? And so, you know, and it's funny, I've had like yoga instructors, like they'll take you through a vigorous flow and I'll be sweating and stuff, and they'll be like, oh, Rachel, you know, I noticed that you were sweating, you know, how did you feel and whatever. I was like, yeah, it was too hot. I was too hot. It was too sweaty.
Too sweaty for me.
You know, and they're, oh, that's interesting. That's too sweaty. You know, it's not sweaty the way your body's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, you know?
Well,
so
I didn't like that too much sweaty stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to get used to. I think it's like also desensitization to some degree, especially if you're just not used to how that feels. And, you know, that it's a normal part of what happens in exercise, certain exercise.
James. By the way, Eric, your vocabulary is amazing. Most people have to look up gong farmer, referencing last night. Do you know what gong farmer is?
No.
What?
I'm expecting it's something to do with poop.
Yes. Good. A gong farmer would be the person that would go around and pick up all the chamber pots or whatever, or if there was if there was a pit, they'd be the ones that would clean out the pit.
Got it.
You know, and then so they were gong farmers. A nice euphemism. But so now, James, the reason why I have that vocabulary is before I had Hodgkin's, which means before I had chemo. Especially like when I'd be on vacation, I would read a book a day. Honest to God, I would read 400-page book in a day, maybe two. Sometimes I have to slow myself down just to get more enjoyment out of it. After Hodgkin's, I'm lucky if I read a book a year. I mean, I pretty much stopped reading fiction altogether. So I can listen to it. I just can't concentrate to read it. So the chemo rewired my brain. So, James, Rach, my job is walking campus, checking fire extinguishers and emergency lights. I think the most I have walked in one day is 27,500 steps.
Oh my gosh. I think you're good, man.
Yeah, my wife.
Maybe you don't need to be panting and sweating. I don't know.
my wife, being a teacher, charts her steps. She does like 12K a day.
Wow.
Yeah, James says he gets the endurance, but not the elevated heart rates. Now, for me, I am so medicated between, I guess, the Entresto and the Metropolol that I don't. If I get to like 115, it's like holy shit. And my cardiologist is like, oh yeah, you get to like when I was doing the exercise bike, one time I got to 120. And I said, I slowed it down. He goes, oh, no, you're good till he's 100. He goes, you probably can't get past 140. He goes, if you were running from a tiger. I go, what? You're so medicated. There's going to be a hard
that's
cap.
Interesting. He's like, you can have every adrenaline thing thrown at you.
Yeah, it's a hard cap. Gong Farmer sounds like our buddy from North Carolina.
It does.
It could be. He might wallow in it, but I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
True.
I don't know what to say other than that. I did not know what to say. So, I'm trying to think what else. I mean, I will say today, the great thing about going out to Jamaica Bay Wildlife Refuge and taking those pictures, it was kind of like taking those pictures last week in the Poconos.
Yeah.
It's very... It invigorates. It really, and you can look at these pictures and you go, "Oh my God, yeah!"
I remember how that felt to be there.
And I think that we forget that. And pictures are made to be memories now.
Yeah.
Since we don't print them out anymore.
Well, especially if you think about like positive psychology, like we often need training to call up those positive memories, especially like if we're depressed or like there's some just bunch of shitty things going on in life,
right?
It can be really hard to call up those memories. So if like photos really help to be able to say, oh, I do have a really nice memory and experience. It's not all shit,
So we'll be sharing more photos. I'm sure we'll share. Maybe we'll make that a feature too. At the photo of the week when we put out the newsletter.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure there'll be some dog pictures in there.
Yeah, we could try some of the other parks too.
Yeah, like definitely. Especially as the seasons change, the parks change. So, James, I really should ride my bike to work. It's only a couple of miles at most.
Oh, that's great.
And of course, that's weather dependent. Nothing sucks more than having to ride your bike in sleet.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Yeah, me and Wheels just don't get along.
Wow, I guess the band is done. Yeah, the wedding reception had a Mexican mariachi band.
They were very good.
2 houses to our right. So now it's quieting down.
Mm-hmm.
I think We're just beyond an hour and a half. We're probably at the witching hour.
Okay.
Folks, as always, thank you for listening. Please jump at the gamershealth.substack.com. Subscribe to the newsletter. It's going to be your newsletter in the end, really. We're going to want submissions. I know we can't get everybody onto this channel, but if we can get people to submit to the newsletter, it really becomes something that belongs to the community. And besides which, you already have me writing on the blog side. You have me talking here on this channel. How much more Tenkar can anybody take?
We'll temper the Tenkar with the rage.
It was the rage. It's like too much cowbell, right? James.
More Tenkar, please.
Thank you much. As usual, we're in the midst of the world of what? The endemic. Use your common sense. Be safe. Be well. God bless. Roll those dice. Roll them well. Rach, by the way, you have those flashy dice too now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forgot to give them to you.
Thank you.
And I'll be back tomorrow with some random video. And next live stream is next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Myself, Bad Mike. I believe we have a special guest, but I'm not sure which one is confirming for it just yet. One is still waiting on Beast to be repaired. And somebody at Rach knows. In any case, folks, I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you much.
Thank you. Take good care.